I had absolutely no thoughts whatsoever that Lehman would fail.
It was unprecedented. There'd never been a situation like this before.
This is a CNBC special report.
And you are looking at a live picture of the once mighty Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old firm born before the Industrial Revolution. Lehman Brothers will file for bankruptcy tonight.
Sunday, sort of 6, 7 o'clock, and I went down to 25 Bank Street. Their urgency was making sure that we were in a position to have the group under control before the markets open at 8 o'clock the next morning.
We were having, conference calls with Bank of England, with the UK Treasury, with the FSA.
We had a judge on standby, paperwork for administration application, and he made the order at 7:56.
We were sort of sent straight over to the headquarters in Europe. We were on the executive floor trying to find solutions to selling businesses as quickly as possible.
Lots of correspondence coming in short order, creditors panicking, wanting to know where their assets were.
Everyone's mobile phones sort of stopped functioning because they couldn't contain and we couldn't access the amount of emails that were coming in.
Hundreds of problems were presenting themselves every hour and were being solved every hour by the teams collaboratively.
You couldn't know everything, but basically there was a problem, we could find someone who knew the answer.
There was just sort of furious activity trying to get things done.
By Christmas, something like 600 different people had worked on it, including people from every one of our offices worldwide, every one of our practice areas.
I think one of the most memorable things from that time was actually waking up each morning to see what the latest headline would be.
Lehman was not just about a failed bank, it was about a failing financial system.
The Dow plunging more than 500 points. The S&P down almost 5%. The wreckage unprecedented.
The numbers we were dealing with were extraordinary.
The derivatives book was measured in the trillions of dollars, and a lot of challenges people were looking at were measured in the billions of dollars.
Why it was such a big deal, it was because of the level of interconnectedness around the world.
It did business with companies, with other banks, with financial market infrastructure such as payment systems, and all of these parties are exposed to the credit risk of Lehman.
The size and scale of dealing with this case was absolutely immense.
The response of the world's governments and regulators, perhaps predictably, wasn't to say, goodness me, we haven't been doing our job very well, have we? But to say, it's not our fault, we didn't have the right regulations. And so there was a tsunami across the world.
Our financial system only works when there are clear rules and basic safeguards that prevent abuse, that check excess, that ensure that it is more profitable to play by the rules than to game the system.
Everyone now understands that something went very wrong with the UK banking industry, and we need to put it right.
What's been happening in the global financial system is try to introduce circuit breakers to make the financial system more resilient to these sorts of shocks.
There's much more focus now on keeping proper records, establishing and demonstrating your compliance with the rules.
It was clear to anyone that there was too little equity in order to absorb losses that occur in such a crash scenario, and we need to see whether the equity buffers we have created are sufficient enough.
Pre-Lehman, clearing of OTC derivatives was optional. The law was changed and more instruments have become mandatory to clear.
Before Lehman's happened, on bonus day, someone would receive a bonus of, say, $1 million in one go. And if you found they'd done something wrong after that, you wouldn't be able to get it back. Now, they don't get that.
The regulatory response to Lehman, I think, I'd have to say, I think it's overwhelmingly has been positive.
One hopes actually that the reforms that have been put in place, the circuit breakers, the resolvability, will mean actually the system is more robust. But we'll have to wait for the next crisis to see what that brings and see what the consequences are.
One of the things that Lehman taught us is how to handle an enormous project of regulatory change across a complex business.
The body of knowledge that we have got from that is not just market leading, but market leading by a long way.
We implemented a knowledge management exercise, a knowledge capture exercise, so that if ever a crisis like this occurred again, there'd be a playbook, a manual. Should we be called upon to a scenario like that again, we could do it even better than we did it the first time.
The other thing that it showcased brilliantly was the culture of the firm and the spirit of the firm, if you like. So the team working, the fact that everybody was mucking in together.
If you handle that sort of pressure, then nothing's going to faze you.